Today, I am so excited to walk you through one of my sketchbooks from high school. So I went to Canterbury High School, which is a arts high school here in Ottawa. You have to audition when you're 13 with a portfolio of, I think, around like 15 pieces. I started this one for ceramics class, it seems. I had ceramics, printmaking, painting, drawing, life drawing, still life, photography, so many different amazing art forms that I got to explore. This year, I remember putting together my ceramics project for that semester, and I actually ended up going with a variation on this theme here, which was peacocks. And I also made a Roman style vessel as well. Ceramics were never my forte. Honestly, I far prefer drawing the plans than I did actually making the ceramics themselves. I find even today my brain works very well in 2 dimensions, not as well in 3. And I have a hard time taking a 2D drawing and bringing it into a 3D space. This is so funny. People were asking me to design their tattoos. And I guess this is one that I had done for somebody a long time ago. And I remember them actually getting it tattooed, so that's pretty cool. Sketchbook layouts were really my very favorite thing to kind of come up with. This was actually one of my shoes. I really miss the Gladiator Birkenstock. I really wish that they would bring it back. Again, more elaborate spreads, kind of trying to figure out what my direction is gonna be. And yeah, I have literally always been an architecture nerd. Always loved drawing architecture, always loved kind of bringing it to life on paper. And this, I believe, was done in watercolor. And honestly, this is over 10 years old now, and it's still holding up just fine. This is another one. This is actually, I'm impressed actually with myself for this. I used to have a very hard time with 2-point perspective. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way that page turned out. This is ideas for a second piece. I think I did make a plate actually, but I don't remember where that went. My grandma has the main vessel, which does actually look quite a bit like that. I think this was also during art history, so I was really into learning and taking notes, especially about other cultures. Hindu culture and Hindu art was really, really fascinating to me at that age. There's just so much color, so many layers to the stories. Yeah, once again, you can still see the influence that has kind of always affected me. Like, I've always been into detailed architectural structured drawings. This, to this day, is still one of my very favorite pieces I think that I've ever drawn. I'm 90% sure this is from my own head, but it may have been a recreation of something. But it's in watercolor and looks like micron, could be Sharpie as well. I still am obsessed with vintage posters, and especially French vintage posters. And yeah, I guess some things never change. Classic me, you can't take the emo out of me. I also had an idea for like a ceramics piece that was kind of like a stacked, kind of interlocking tower where you had each individual cube showing a different idea or a different theme. This is so funny. We had to do a PSA or like an advertisement, and so I chose drugs. They'll eat you from the inside. Honestly, I'm actually pretty impressed with how I drew the hand, considering like I barely just figured out how to draw hands even a couple years ago. Editing me here, this was the final version of the illustration. It's wild to me how tattooing was so important even at 16, 17, 18, and you can still see that in pretty much all the artwork that I've done from that era. This is a same version of the last piece, and I think I actually drew her on a grander scale for the advertisement. which was for Chanel number 5. And this was the final version of the advertisement project. I don't know what's going on with her hand, but yeah, you can see that I clearly spent all my time on the drugs drawing and not on this one. Man, some things really do never change, eh? You can't take me away from the historical pieces. To illustrate what I mean by that, this is a flash piece that I drew just a few months ago. Also, that's super not right. This is like 1907, 1910 maybe. Some little doodles. And then we come to the most difficult part of drawing for me, which was life drawing. I find I can draw very easily from buildings and from nature, but to actually draw a human being is very, very difficult for me. Classic. Yeah, this was, I was 17, so gosh, that must have been 2010. So prime Green Day years, let's say. I was planning originally to have a teapot that kind of like blended into a tile. Really cool, but that is extremely ambitious. And yeah, my teachers did not allow me to do that. I ended up just doing the tile and then doing like a peacock painted over it instead. And there's the drawing for it. So this drawing I actually just transferred to the tile that I created. It was like cut into 4, and then I transferred this on. This is, I guess, something that I altered on Photoshop. And this was another idea that I had before I kind of put it all together. It's interesting, my handwriting is so much clearer here than it is now. This was my final grade 11 ceramics project. As you can see, it broke in the kiln. I think the idea was there. I would love to have the chance to be able to redo this with the hand-eye coordination that I have now. Due to time constraints, we also weren't allowed to throw on the wheel, and I think that would have looked way better than my hand-built pinch pot thing that I created there. So these were all quotes about pride and quotes about of peacocks. Vanité des vanités, toute est vanité. Même la plus grande sagesse peut être occultée par l'éclat de la vanité. No idea why I have this in there. No idea, but 100% guaranteed I was just obsessed with all the little details and like all the structural elements that kind of like build up this shape. Inspirations for my Delftware piece, which is the peacock piece. I feel like this page really sums me up pretty darn well. You've got our little scene queen here with that, oh my gosh, what a 2010 silhouette. Look at like the little tattoos and chest, like the little chest piece that I put on there with the nautical stars. And looks like a swallow with a banner, just to be or not to be. And then we have this kind of like Delftware chinoiserie kind of inspiration panel, I guess. So in grade 10, we had to do a series of illustrations based on either a poem, a story. I chose Dustland Fairy Tale by The Killers. The Killers had me in an absolute chokehold. An absolute chokehold. So I had a few different illustrations. I ended up picking 3 of these. This one, kind of like a greaser. He looked just like you'd want him to, some kind of slick chrome American prince. In the sky, sit stranded, vandalized, being like a pirate ship flying with some like castle in the cloud. And then I did at the bottom the devil getting ready for a boxing match and said, saw the devil wrapping up his hands, he's getting ready for the showdown. I don't really connect a lot to song lyrics in general. This is the drawing for my first ever tattoo. That's so cool. I'm shocked to see this actually. I forgot that this was in here. Yeah, my first tattoo ever is this drawing, basically just with an artist's interpretation on top of it. And of course, can't go wrong with Star Wars. I painted an AT-AT or an AT-AT in the tech booth in Canterbury. And that's it. I really hope that you enjoyed looking through my sketchbook from grade 11. I was 17 when I did all these, and it's actually really fun to kind of go back and witness my inner child and revisit some of the concepts that I think have shaped me as an artist for my entire life.